Welcome back to Less Cash, More Mash. My name's Tom.
My name's Mike.
So my brother came over last weekend and he brought us some goodies. So today we're not technically uncorking because we uncorked over the weekend and tried them, but we are going to do some sampling of two of the whiskeys that he had brought over the other day. So both of these were purchased at Trader Joe's, correct?
Correct.
And I forgot to put a sticker on them, so I don't remember. So this one he got for approximately $16.99, and this one I think you said was
I think it's $12.99.
$12.99 or something to that effect. So both of these were actually, I don't think this one was made in Tennessee. It's I was trying to look up some of the stuff on it. It was made in Tennessee. It goes through the same process, the Lincoln County process with the charcoal filtered and the oak barrel. It's the same as what Jack Daniels goes through. And this one was aged for 4 years in new charred American oak barrels. We tried both of them. We're going to try them again today to see if they changed any of the taste. Which one you want to try first?
Doesn't matter.
So we did a little evaluation of all the ones that I've already had here and these. So we kind of came to the same conclusion that I think we both equated it. So we'll preface it by saying, I can say he's also a certified whiskey noob. Most of his whiskey drinking would mix with a Coke or a ginger ale or something to that effect. So just in case you were thinking I was bringing in a ringer, we
no ringer.
We're not bringing in a ringer. But with both of these pretty much reminded me a lot of the Jack Daniels. I wasn't getting a whole lot of
strong flavor.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of strong flavor, a whole lot of taste. Yeah, you really get like the and I started thinking the more every time we've tried any of the ones that had the charcoal, it's almost like they filter out all the taste and the flavor when they do that charcoal filtering. But
it smells like it's a burn.
Yeah, but it's very very faint. Like I don't even think I get a very little caramel, maybe a little of the vanilla, but it's kind of that caramel vanilla mix. But I think I got more scent out of the 10 high when I did it. Let me try a sip.
Yeah, it's like a JD taste.
You get a slight tingle on the tongue, but you don't get that flavor doesn't sit on your tongue and coat anything like when I had Knob Creek.
I don't really have like a mad flavor.
No, it actually, as much as you don't want to just say it tastes like you're drinking the alcohol, but that's it. Really when you get into
it tastes like that.
We found on some of the cheaper ones. That's where
I don't have like a vanilla flavor or anything going down.
This honestly reminds me a lot of the early times. I said that when I drank the early times. You almost get more of the. You don't really get like the caramel or the oak flavor. Like this one, I forget what it is. This wasn't the one that was. This is the one that's supposed to be aged for 4 years, but it seems like. In an aging process, it depends where it is on. So you want the hot and the cold, because then the oak flavor gets, the alcohol goes into the oak and then it gets back out and it brings out the flavor and it goes. This seems like it was in a basement and like never changed temperature. Like they put it somewhere, you know what I mean, where it didn't extract for 4 years. You would think it would have a lot more of that vanilla, caramel, oaky happiness, and you really don't. So unless that got filtered out in a charcoal filter,
you might get a scent of vanilla now that's at the edge of the cup, but you don't get that flavor.
I mean, it goes down. It really doesn't coat very well in your mouth either. Like it doesn't sit like, you remember when we did the Knob Creek? It like kind of stayed on your tongue and you could taste the flavor the whole way down. This kind of, I don't want to say it's water-esque, but it just kind of goes in, it comes down, and there's no finish afterwards. You don't have that longer. It's not a bad tasting one. Oh. It definitely like to me, it's.
You could make this would make a good mixer.
That's kind of what it reminds me of.
It wouldn't be like your first choice to put over rocks or anything. At least not for me.
No, I 100% agree with that.
I go with a ginger ale or a Coke.
It almost has enough of the whiskey flavor. I don't even want to say bourbon flavor. Enough of the whiskey flavor where if you did put it with a Coke or a ginger ale, that flavor would shine through. But it's not gonna. It doesn't give you any of the sweetness or any like you don't get any of the candy.
If you mix that, you wouldn't probably know if you were drinking JD or that.
Again, I agree with you 100%. And to me, that's what Jack Daniels. Because again, I hadn't had it, and that's what that one.
And this was Kentucky.
That was the Kentucky's Best, correct. This one, if I remember correctly, this one was even a little bit sweeter than the, which we should have got a new glass, but we already kind of had these
Johnny
before.
Professionals.
Well, if we were gonna be right about it, but this one, honestly,
This one has a different smell.
this one has a way different smell. Actually, we should have got a new glass. But with that,
You got like a vanilla smell.
would that be? See, this one is. Yeah, let's try. We'll try smelling out of a new glass. Drink out of ours, I guess, but it really doesn't have. It's not remotely the same taste.
I get a vanilla out of that one. Maybe a little sugar, but vanilla mostly. I think I get out of that.
It smells so light, too. Like it doesn't.
But you don't have that. Like the last one had like a real alcohol smell. This one really doesn't have the heavy alcohol smell.
Right. That's what I meant. Like it smells light. Like it doesn't smell like it smells like it would be a lot lower proof. It doesn't even have like a bourbon smell. Is this the one it's the Canadian Kentucky? No, it is a bourbon. Tennessee bourbon sour mash. Let me just look real quick. I forget.
Two of us are blind. So.
He brought the two. Yeah. We can't see anymore.
I'll have to bring
he
my
brought
glasses
this over,
next
so
time.
it's filtered through the sugar maple. Maybe that's why you get the sugar maple. That's why instead of the oak barrel. So you get.
I get like a
It really
maple.
reminds me like a rum. That's what it's kind of without the sweetness of the rum, because a
all
rum
I
has
ever did
that
with rum
sweetness. Is
drink that with Coke.
with
so.
Coke, right? So there was
This smells.
no. It says it was filtered through sugar maple charcoal before it was stored in charred white oak barrels. Each bat is a tribute. You know, it's made just like the other, like JD, where it goes through all the Tennessee process. Again, both of them, when we had them, neither one of them were a bad whiskey, but you could see why they're not highly ranked. Actually, to be 100% honest, and that's what I always do, my personal opinion, you know, because this was like 16, I think you said, and that was like $12.99. I 100% would spend the $15, get the 10 high, and then you get that actual. It's not a heavy scent of it, but you do get that bourbon flavor.
I think this one is actually more expensive.
I wrote them down. The Trader Joe's was the $16.99, and this one was Kentucky's Best was $12.99.
This one to me is I think it's got a better flavor, even though it's only 8 months cured or whatever. You don't have that heavy, like, alcohol burn.
You don't. And you know what this reminds me of? A Canadian whiskey. When I used to drink the cheap Canadian whiskeys, that's what this one reminds me too. Because a Canadian whiskey it's like, it doesn't have that bourbon, charred oak flavor. It's just like smoother. It's just that's what this one reminds. I think I said that the other day when I said it too. They're really, not anything alike. Like they're definitely two.
This one to
different.
me is like closer to a JD, strong hit, bang. This one's, I'm not gonna say it's wicked smooth, but it goes down easier, and it does have a better flavor. I think it's it is sweeter.
So you might steer more towards the Canadian whiskeys than the or like we used to do Jameson and Coke and stuff like that a lot too. So that might be
ginger.
That might be the way that you would go instead of going on the bourbon end. You know what I mean? The difference being
Jameson by itself is a rough whiskey to me.
No, we'll get it eventually, but you're not incorrect. Like everyone always says, "Oh, it's such a smooth."
It's a good
drinker.
mixer.
It is a good mixer, but it has enough of a punch that it fights through the Coke flavor. So you get the sweetness of the Coke, but you still get that. Hello, I'm drinking a whiskey inside of it, yeah, or ginger ale, or whatever you're mixing it with. But overall,
for the money, I didn't think it's not
Nope.
that bad. It's. I would probably spend the extra money and get this one before that one again if I was to get them again.
If you were going to buy them again, I would see. I don't mind either one of them, But I would probably buy neither of them again because I would get
Correct.
the 10 high. That's a 1.75 liter. To me, has a lot more taste and a lot more flavor, and it was $15 for that. So if I was going to put it in my ranking,
And I should have looked too, and I'll have to get better if I see him. Like, who is this compared to? Who is it side by side? They must have them. Like,
right. Well, see, that was the other thing. When he brought him here, I was kind of excited, and I don't know if anyone else is like me and is absolutely clueless when it comes to certain things. But I remember when he mentioned it, like our local liquor store used to have their own rum and their own vodka, their name, and I haven't ever found a whiskey, but again, I used to grab the bottom one and just run. I'm gonna have to get better at looking too to see if because this one's actually named. It has Trader Joe's name right on it, and I don't go to Trader Joe's. He did, so I wouldn't even know. But I'm gonna have to look at like if they have a store brand whiskey. What it's next
I'll
to.
also keep an eye out.
Right, and we'll try, and then I can see, are they better or not? But I do remember
Some people have said you can't tell, and then other people.
Well, it's much like
totally
I've
shit
said
on it, so.
before, when we drank rum, and we used to drink, gallons of Bacardi all the time. But, Bacardi was one price, but then Ron Roberto was half of that price, and it tastes exactly, not Ron Rico, Ron Roberto tastes exactly the same, when you're mixing it.
I didn't think so, but
Ron Roberto?
yeah, I was either Bacardi or Myers for me, and they're totally different.
That's the total other end. But to me, Ron Roberto was like the closest you're going to get to Bacardi. Ron Rico had that nasty aftertaste. That was the traditional bar one. But Ron Roberto to me was that. So here, you can choose the camera. But that's that. That's our assessment. To me, this is going to end up going in the line. I honestly, I got to say, it's a lot like Jack Daniels. I
think this is ahead of Jack Daniels myself.
Yeah, I agree.
This one's pretty close. Probably.
I would 100% buy either one of these before I bought Jack Daniels again, and I'm actually kind of shocked and disregard the number 7 brand that's on the top of the thing. But to me, it is one of the for the price you're paying. This one actually reminds me a lot like it. This one,
I would.
This one,
if anything, this could almost be tied or go to the backside of that one. I would put this one ahead
in front of it. I don't disagree with that. This is definitely a sweeter. To me, it reminds me of a Canadian whiskey. It says bourbon on it, but I'm not saying bourbon. As far as drinkability wise, though, I think it drinks smoother. On
than JD.
Easier than JD did.
From what I remember, it's.
But there you go. There's the. Thank you to our special guest. Leave a comment down below. If you enjoyed, you can hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button, and he's going to go nuts because the big truck's going by. And
Cheers.
Spend less, drink more. Have a good night.